Let's talk about the exact moment you wake up. I don't mean the moment you physically get out of bed. I mean the split second your eyes open before your feet hit the cold floor.
For the average American male between the ages of 25 and 45, that first conscious microsecond is the most painful moment of the day.
Because for that one tiny fraction of a second, you forget.
You forget who you are, you forget where you are, you forget the weight on your shoulders.
And then gravity hits you.
The chest tightness returns like a physical clamp being tightened around your lungs. The grinding in your jaw tells you that you were clenching your teeth all night in your sleep, fighting invisible enemies in your dreams. You remember the email from your boss that you didn't answer on Friday, and you know it has been rotting in your inbox all weekend waiting to explode. You remember the check engine light you put a piece of black electrical tape over because you simply cannot afford to know what is wrong with the transmission. You remember the credit card balance that is hovering exactly $14 below the limit, and you silently pray to whatever God will listen that the subscription fee for Netflix doesn't hit today and trigger a $35 overdraft fee. You get up, you put on the shirt that is slightly too tight, you drive the leased car that costs you $650 a month, and you go to a job where you pretend to be engaged, pretend to be happy, and pretend that you aren't slowly suffocating. This is the great American performance art. We live in the richest country in the history of the human species, yet 70% of us are vibrating with a frequency of pure, unadulterated terror. We are walking around with cortisol levels that our ancestors only felt when they were being hunted by apex predators, but our predator is invisible. It isn't a lion in the tall grass, it's a number on a screen, it's a credit score. It's the algorithm at the bank that decides if you are worthy of shelter. It is the silent, humming threat of total insolvency that follows you into the shower, into the car, and into your bed. And the worst part? You are doing exactly what you were told to do. You followed the script perfectly. You went to college and took on the student loans because your guidance counselor told you it was good debt. You got the degree. You got the corporate job with the dental plan. You bought the house with the white picket fence, or at least the overpriced condo with the HOA fees that rise every January. You did everything right, and yet you feel like you are walking on a razor-thin tightrope over a canyon. And one bad gust of wind, one corporate restructuring, one medical deductible, one bad divorce will send you free-falling into total ruin. The system is designed to keep you in this state. It is profitable to keep you terrified. A terrified population works overtime without asking for a raise because they are afraid to rock the boat. A terrified population buys things they don't need to feel a fleeting second of dopamine to numb the pain. A terrified population finances $60,000 trucks to prove to their neighbors that they are doing well, even though they are drowning in quiet desperation behind closed doors. The entire US economy is built on the back of your anxiety. If you were secure, if you were content, the GDP would collapse. They need you running on that hamster wheel, terrified that if you stop, you will die. They sell you the cure too, which is the cruelest joke of all. You open your phone and what do you see? A 19-year-old in Dubai standing next to a rented Lamborghini telling you that if you just buy his course, if you just learn to trade options, if you just buy this specific crypto coin, you can have it all. They dangle the number $1 million in front of you like a carrot on a stick. They tell you that financial freedom is a yacht, it's a mansion in Miami, it's a private jet, it is a life of total excess. This is a lie, and it is a malicious, calculated lie. They give you an impossible goal so that you stay paralyzed. When you are staring at a mountain that is 10,000 feet high and you're wearing flip-flops, you don't start climbing. You give up. You say, I'll never be a millionaire, so I might as well order the DoorDash and buy the new iPhone and enjoy the decline. The gap between where you are and where they tell you to be is so big that it crushes your spirit before you even take the first step.
It forces you into a state of learned helplessness. You accept your chains because the key seems too far away.
So today, we are going to burn the fantasy. We are going to stop talking about millions. We are going to stop talking about getting rich. We are going to talk about the only number that actually matters. The number that saves your life. The number that acts as a blast shield between you and the chaos of the brutal American economy. That number is $25,000. 25 grand, liquid, available, not in your house equity that you can't eat, not in your 401k that locks you out until you're 60 years old. I am talking about $25,000 sitting in a boring high-yield savings account that you can touch tomorrow.
I can hear you sighing. I can feel you rolling your eyes. It sounds boring. It sounds small. It sounds unsexy. It doesn't sound like wealth.
But let me explain the physics of this number, because I promise you, hitting $25,000 is harder, more painful, and more important than hitting your first million. Here is the neuroscience of being broke that nobody explains to you. When you have less than $25,000 in the bank, you are suffering from a condition psychologists call cognitive tunneling. This is not a metaphor, it is a biological reality. There was a famous study done on sugarcane farmers in India. Before the harvest, when they were broke, their IQ scores were significantly lower than after the harvest, when they had cash. Same people, same brains, different financial state. When resources are scarce, your brain physically narrows its focus to the immediate threat. You literally lose IQ points. Studies show a drop of up to 13 points in fluid intelligence when you are under financial stress. That is the difference between average and borderline deficient. You become incapable of long-term strategic planning because your brain is dedicating all its processing power to immediate survival. It is like trying to load a complex web page on a computer that has 500 tabs open. The processor is overheated. The fan is spinning. Nothing works. This is why poor people make bad decisions. It's not because they are stupid. It's because when you are worried about making rent, you cannot think about a 5-year investment horizon. You are playing checkers while the wealthy are playing 4D chess. You pay the late fee because you didn't have the cash on the first. You buy the cheap boots that fall apart in 3 months because you couldn't afford the quality ones that last 10 years. You eat the processed garbage because you are too exhausted from your second job to cook. Being broke is expensive. It is a tax on your mind, your body, and your wallet. It is a vortex that pulls you down. It is a gravitational well that requires massive velocity to escape. But when you cross the $25,000 threshold, the tunneling stops. The bandwidth returns. You can finally breathe. You reclaim your mind. Let's look at a specific, visceral scenario that plays out every single day in corporate America to understand the FU money mechanic. Let's take 2 guys, Mike and Steve. They have the exact same job, same salary, same annoying, toxic boss. Mike drives a brand new Ford F-150 Lariat. He looks successful. He wears the nice watch. He goes to the nice steakhouse on Friday night. He posts photos of his weekend on Instagram. But Mike has $800 in his checking account and $12,000 on his Visa card. He is living paycheck to paycheck, financing a lifestyle he cannot afford to impress people he doesn't like. He is vibrating with anxiety. He checks his banking app 10 times a day. Steve drives a 2012 Honda Civic with a dent in the rear bumper and clear coat peeling off the hood. He looks like he's struggling. His co-workers make fun of his car. They ask him why he doesn't upgrade, but Steve has $25,000 sitting in a high-yield savings account. Their boss walks in on Friday at 4:30 p.m. and says, "Hey guys, the client messed up the data. I need you both to come in this weekend to fix it. Unpaid, of course. We need to be team players on this one." Mike feels his stomach drop. The acid hits his throat. He hates this. He promised his son he'd take him to the baseball game. He hates his boss.
But Mike has a truck payment due on the 15th. Mike is terrified of losing his health insurance because his daughter needs braces next month. Mike is trapped.
He runs the calculation in his head. If I say no, he might fire me. If I get fired, I miss the truck payment. If I miss the truck payment, my credit score drops. If my score drops, I can't refinance the house. It's a cascade of terror. So Mike swallows his pride, smiles a fake, painful smile and says, "Sure thing, boss. Happy to help." Mike is a slave. He is owned by his liabilities.
Steve feels a flash of annoyance but no fear. His heart rate doesn't change. He does a quick mental calculation.
He has 6 months of living expenses in the bank. He could get fired today, take 3 months off to sit on his couch and play video games, and still be perfectly fine. He knows he can survive without this company. He knows he is not a slave. So Steve looks the boss in the eye, maintains eye contact, and says, "I can't do this weekend. I have plans. If the project is critical, we can tackle it first thing Monday morning, or we can discuss overtime pay." The boss is shocked. He freezes. He smells the lack of fear. In the corporate world, fear is the currency of control.
Managers rely on your desperation to extract free labor from you. When you don't smell like fear, you become dangerous. And ironically, you become more valuable. The boss respects Steve. He backs down. He walks all over Mike.
This is what FU money actually looks like. It's not screaming at your boss and flipping a table like in the movies. It's the quiet, unshakable confidence of a man who knows he cannot be starved out. It changes how you negotiate your salary. It changes how you date. You don't settle for toxic partners because you aren't looking for someone to pay your rent. It changes how you sleep. It turns you from a prey animal into a predator. But getting to this number is a war, and I use that word intentionally. It is a violent psychological war against the American culture. The journey from $0 to $25,000 is the valley of death. Mathematically, it is the hardest money you will ever accumulate. It is harder than going from $100,000 to $1 million. When you start from zero, gravity is turned up to maximum. You are fighting inflation. You are fighting taxes. You are fighting your own dopamine receptors that have been fried by TikTok and Instagram algorithms designed to make you spend. You are fighting your friends who want you to go out and drink $15 cocktails.
And the returns, they are pathetic. This is why people quit. This is the filter. You scrape and save for a year. You deny yourself every pleasure.
You brown bag your lunch while your co-workers go to Chipotle. You get $5,000 together. You put it in the market. It goes up 10%. You made $500.
$500? You sacrificed your social life. You ate rice and beans. You didn't go on the guy's trip to Vegas, all for $500. It feels insulting. It feels like a joke.
You look at that $500 and think, I could have just bought a PlayStation and been happy. What is the point of this suffering? I am suffering for nothing. This is where 95% of people break. They stare into the abyss of the math, they see how slow the snowball is rolling, and they retreat to the comfort of consumerism. They trade their freedom for a leased BMW and a temporary feeling of status. They decide that YOLO is a better strategy than math. They decide that since they will never be rich anyway, they might as well look rich today. But you have to push through the valley of death. You have to understand that capital has a critical mass. At $25,000, the math shifts. A 10% return is $2,500. That's over $200 a month. That's your cell phone bill and your internet bill paid for by your money forever. Your money has now become an employee. It showed up to work. It didn't call in sick. It didn't ask for a raise. It just worked. Once you see your money paying for your life, the addiction flips. You stop being addicted to spending. You become addicted to building. You realize that every $100 you spend on something stupid is a soldier you are executing before it can fight for you. You start to see the world not in terms of monthly payments, but in terms of capital deployment. You walk into a store, you see a pair of shoes, and you don't see shoes. You see a week of freedom that you are trading away. Now, I have to give you a warning, a serious one. This is the great filter. This is where the people who make it to 25K usually blow it and destroy their future. When you hit that number, you will feel rich. If you grew up poor, seeing 5 figures in your bank account feels like you won the lottery. You will walk differently. You will feel proud. You will feel like you beat the game. And then the trap will spring. The Diderot effect will kick in. Your brain will say, "You've been so good. You've sacrificed so much. You deserve a reward. Why are you driving that old Honda? You have 25,000. You can put a down payment on a Tesla. You can afford the monthly payment now. You need to enjoy life while you're young. You need to upgrade your lifestyle to match your new net worth." Do not do it. This is how the middle class stays the middle class. They treat savings as a spending account in waiting. They save up just enough to get into more debt. If you buy a liability with your Freedom Fund, you are resetting the video game to level 1, but this time you are playing on hard mode because now you have a higher monthly payment and higher insurance. You are voluntarily putting the handcuffs back on. You are walking back into the prison cell and locking the door from the inside. You are taking the seed corn that was supposed to grow your farm and you are eating it. That $25,000 is not spending money. It is not a fund for a rainy day. It is your shield. It is your battery. It is the only thing standing between you and the abyss. You do not drain the battery that keeps your life support running just to buy a shiny object that will lose 20% of its value the moment you drive it off the lot. So how do you get there? How do you save $25,000 when rent is $2,200 and a carton of eggs is $6 and wages are stagnant? You have to do something radical. You have to embrace strategic poverty. The average American tries to save by cutting out the latte or cancelling Netflix. That's a joke. That is amateur hour. You cannot Starbucks your way to wealth. You have to attack the structural pillars of your spending.
I am talking about housing and cars. If you want to escape the matrix, you might have to be a 30-year-old man with a roommate. You might have to move back in with your parents for a year and swallow your pride.
You might have to sell the truck and drive a 2008 Corolla that smells like old gym socks and rattles when you go over 60 mph. You might have to stop drinking alcohol entirely because bars are wealth-destroying machines. It will suck. Your ego will scream. It will feel like humiliation. Your friends, the ones who are broke but look rich, will make fun of you. They will ask why you were being so cheap. They will pity you. They will post photos of their vacations in Tulum while you are sitting at home eating leftovers on a Friday night. Let them. They are playing the status game. You are playing the freedom game. The status game is a multiplayer game where everyone loses except the bank. The winner of the status game is the person who has the most debt. The guy you envy, the one with the boat and the big house, statistically, he is one missed paycheck away from a heart attack. He is stressed out of his mind. He fights with his wife about money every night. He is drowning, but he has a really nice life jacket. The freedom game is a single-player game. It's lonely, it's quiet, it's unsexy. It requires you to kill your ego, but the prize is your life. Because here is the philosophical truth that they don't teach you in school. Money is not metal or paper or digital code. Money is frozen time. When you go to work, you are trading the limited hours of your conscious existence. Hours you will never get back. Hours you could spend with your children. Hours you could spend sleeping or creating or living. And you are trading them for dollars. You are selling pieces of your life. When you take those dollars and buy a new car, you are taking months of your life, months of early mornings, traffic jams and stress, and you are setting them on fire. You are trading your life for metal and rubber and plastic. But when you save that $25,000, you have banked time. You have frozen your freedom. That money sitting in the bank is a year of your life that belongs to you, not a corporation. It means that if the world falls apart, if the layoffs come, if the health crisis hits, you don't have to beg, you don't have to panic, you just endure, you become anti-fragile. So stop looking at the guys on Instagram with the rented Ferraris. Stop worrying about making $1 million. That goal is too big, and it's keeping you paralyzed. It's a distraction designed to keep you poor. Focus on the $25,000. Sell the crap in your garage. Cancel the subscriptions. Drive the Uber on the weekends. Eat the ramen. Embrace the suck. Ignore the snarky comments from your broke friends. Become a ghost. Disappear into the grind for 18 months so you can emerge free for the rest of your life. Because on the other side of that number is the only thing worth buying. Silence. The noise stops. The anxiety fades. The hum of the refrigerator in your brain turns off. And for the first time in your life, you are actually free.